Okay, so hi everyone. In this video, I want to go over, give me a second. I want to go over how to write an interval notation, or rather an interval. How to write a certain, interval in interval notation. So, this is one of the things that I forgot to go over, at the very beginning. So apparently, the thing about these is that these are kind of they're basically the foundation for how to do when you have to do the domain and range. You have to learn how to write these in interval notation, and that's basically, you do these in calculus, and when you do when the function is increasing or decreasing, and when you do domain and range, and etc. So you do need to know how to do these. I'm gonna just go over the basic rules for how to do them. So one of the things that you learn in algebra is that so you learn that if a function has real numbers a and b, then basically, there's basically, when let's say a function is decreasing, you can go from here to like here, and this is a and this is b. I'm gonna just go ahead and show you guys some examples just so that you know what I'm talking about. So basically, or actually I'm gonna go over the rules. So basically, when you have an interval, it can go from a to b. So you have that first one, right? And then you say, or rather, when you say a is less than x is less than b, and you want to graph it. And this goes back to that other video that I did on when you learn about like how to graph basically how to graph inequalities on the real number line. So the thing about these is that when you have from a to b, and the thing about these is that on the number line, when you have less than, this is going to be less than, and it's going to be like this, and that's open circle. Okay, this says that it's greater than, so then that means that you're gonna do again an open circle. Okay, this with the little dash on the bottom, or line on the bottom, this is less than or equal to. And for this one, you're gonna do a dot. And then for this one, this says that this is greater than or equal to. Okay, and you're gonna do a dot again. So I'll explain what that means in a minute. Also, when you do less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, these are gonna imply that you're gonna close your interval with brackets, okay? When it's less than or greater than, this implies that you're going to do your interval with parentheses, okay? For, so yeah, like that. And usually you don't really use this one or this one. You're mostly gonna use this one, okay? These two. So basically for this interval here, we basically have, so if we want to graph it, we have A is right here, and then here's B. And looking at this, we're going to want an open circle on both of them. And then it goes from A, so it goes from A to B. So remember that when you have something like this, this is basically implying it's from A to B, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're just literally gonna shade in between, because this is implying that, so A is less than X less than B. This is saying that A is less than X or B is greater than X. If you do the same exact thing for this, you would get so it's basically like saying, it's basically, I mean, this is really not the same exact thing. It almost is, but it's, you know, it's, at the same time, it almost is, but not exactly, because if you do A is less than X, you get this. Or sorry, you get this. Actually, no, it is the same thing. A is less than X, or B is greater than X. And if you get B is greater than X, or X is less than B, rather, you would shade this exact one at the same time. However, when you have B is less than X, you would shade this entire thing, but because this is an interval notation, just remember, or rather, because this is an interval, just know that it goes from A to B. This is literally the only thing that you have to remember, from A to B, okay? That's exactly what you need to remember. It's always from A to B. So anytime that you see like any number to another number, make sure that you put them from least to greatest, from left to right, least to greatest, and and then put them on the number line and just shade in between, and remember your rules for less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, if it's a dot or an open circle. We're gonna do some examples, and also some of the things that you have to remember. So this one, for example, this one is in interval notation. It's going to be A to B. Okay. Let me make sure it's still recording, because sometimes, okay. So this next one that I want to do, this next one that's very important, is going to be A. So we're going to do A is less than or equal to X is less than B. Okay. If we have, so again, you want to put your dashes from A to B, okay? The thing about this one is that we have a less than or equal to symbol. That's going to be a closed dot, and that's going to mean that we have to, I think we have to shade to the right. So first we're going to go ahead and put a closed dot right here, a dot, and then for X is less than B, if we have a less than, that's going to be an open circle. So here we're going to have an open circle. Now we're saying all real values from A to B, okay? So all you need to do now is just shade in between, okay? I mean, at this point, don't really think about, try not to think about whether you shade left or shade right. In reality, it's really, once you have these kind of intervals, you want to just, whatever is in between, whatever is X, this basically, what this is saying is that this whole part here, so this entire part here is X, okay? And the reason why they put less than or equal to is because A is included in the interval. And the reason why they put this here is because B is not included in the interval. Because it's just less than. X is less than B. It is not equal to B. It is not equal to B, so that's why B is not included in the interval. A is less than or equal to X, so A is included in the interval because it's equal to X. It's less than or equal to X, okay? The next one that I want to do, oh, and also, to write it in interval notation, so basically, like I said, this implies that it's a bracket, and then also this implies that it's a parentheses, okay? Always when you have this or this, I mean, these are parentheses, okay? It's always a parentheses. Just know that when you go, when it's basically when this one comes after, it's most likely going to be this one, okay? We're gonna do some examples. I'm trying my best to explain to you guys. So this ends up being from A to B, but it's with a parentheses on B, because B, it's less than B. So it's a parentheses at B, okay? If it was less than X, if it was A is less than X, then this would be a parentheses, okay? Another one that I want to show you guys. A is less, so we're going to do A is less than X is less than or equal to B. So from here, you have, so again, you have A, and then you have B. So again, looking at this, it's less than. So what does that tell you? Well, that tells you that because it's less than, it's going to be an open circle, okay? And then this one is less than or equal to, okay? So this one, for this one, it's going to be a dot, okay? So this is going to be that you shade, you're going to still shade in between basically, because it's from A to B. If it's, like I said, if it's from A to B, you always shade in between, because this implies that this is X, okay? Like this whole area is X from A to B. However, remember that when it's parentheses, not included in the interval, okay? When it's a open circle, it's the same exact thing. It is not included in the interval. When it's a dot, when it's a dot on the right side, it's going to be this. On the left, it's going to be this. When it's a circle on the right, it's going to be this. It's a circle on the left. It's going to be this, okay? So, so here, this ends up being, this one ends up being, there's an open circle on the left side. So it's gonna be this, and we're gonna put A, comma, and then we're gonna do, for B, it's a dot on the right side, so it's gonna be B, bracket, okay? Let's see what else there is. So we did A is less than X is less than B, and then we're gonna do A is less than or equal to X is less than B, and then we're gonna do, so I think now we're gonna do A is less than or equal to X is less than or equal to B. Okay, so A is less than or equal to X is less than or equal to B. We have here, this is gonna be from A to B, so basically you have this, and you're gonna plot A and B, so it's the same exact thing. You're gonna put A and B, and then you put, remember how I said it's if it's a less than or equal to, it's a closed dot. So this is less than or equal to, so we're going to put a closed dot right here. And then B is also a closed dot because it's less than or equal to, okay? And because there's an X in between, so there's an X in between, so then we have something like this, okay? And then once you do that, remember that I said when it's a closed dot, it's going to be a bracket. When it's a closed dot on the left, it's going to be a bracket. And then when it's a closed dot on the right, it's going to be a bracket like this. So this says that we're going to have the interval A to B, okay? So now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to go ahead and work some examples. So number one, let's just say we have -2 is less than or equal to x is less than 2, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and draw a number line. So here, we're gonna have this. Let's just say that 0 is right here. This is -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. So this, again, we're gonna put, because it's less than or equal to, it's gonna be a closed circle, a dot. We're gonna put it at -2, okay? And then we have, over here, we have a less than symbol. So less than says it's gonna be an open circle. So we have an open circle right here. So we're gonna go ahead and all we have to do now is just shade in between. Just shade in between, okay? So then this is going to be going to be from -2 to 2, okay? Now let's just say we had an interval that says, and I'm sure I've gone through these before, these, so when I say x is less than, when I say x is less than, it is greater than 0, excuse me. When I say x is greater than 0, what I mean by that is, what this means is all real numbers greater than 0, okay? So how you would graph this, and I'm sure I've already gone through these in previous videos, but I'm going to go through it again. So how you would graph this is you would go ahead and plot your 0 right here, and you're going to shade all the real numbers that are greater than 0, okay? So you're going to go ahead and, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? Here's -1, -2, -3, -4, negative 5. So you're going to put, right here, you're going to put an open circle again because it's greater than. You're going to put an open circle, and then you're going to shade all the real numbers that are greater than 0. So all the real numbers that are greater than 0. Shade all of these. Okay. And also when you do this, when you want to write this in interval notation, I feel like a lot of people get really confused on how to do this when they don't have, basically when they don't have, like, when they don't have it of this form, or when they don't have it in this form. This is not really that hard. You're just saying that this is gonna go from, the way that I would do it is, I know that this is infinity, okay? This is 0, so 0 is right here. Infinity is over here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it goes from 0 to infinity, okay? The thing about infinity and negative infinity is that you never put brackets on negative infinity or positive infinity, okay? You never do that. Never put brackets on negative infinity or positive infinity, because that's going to be wrong, okay? Because infinity is any number, so it's like, you know, it's you don't really, the thing about infinity is that it goes on forever. We can't say that we're just going to include infinity, because infinity is very general. It's like all real numbers, okay? And also for negative infinity, it's all the negative numbers, okay? So let's just say that I want to do x, and give me a second, guys. Let's just say that I want to do x is less than 7. So here, okay, I want to do x is less than 7, okay? So that means that I want to do all the, so when you see this, you can look at x as all real numbers, and then less than 7 is just less than 7. So this implies that it's all real numbers less than 7, okay? Remember our rules, so we have, this is going to be an open circle, and we're going to do all the real numbers that are less than 7, okay? So an open circle, and anything that's less than 7, so 6 is less than 7, we can plug numbers in. We can say 6 is less than 7, 5 is less than 7, 4 is less than 7, 3 is less than 7, 0 is less than 7, negative 1 is less than 7, so that means that negative infinity, it's going to go on to negative infinity, and that's going to be less than 7. So, I'm going to shade all the way to the left. This is negative infinity. And then this is, over here's infinity. So, therefore, because we have this kind of inequality, we're going to do an interval notation. It's going to be from negative infinity to 7 with a parentheses, because remember, parentheses says that it's less than, okay? parentheses, always says any of these two. Okay. So your answer ends up being from negative infinity to 7. Okay. Let's do another one. So let me try to find one that is more of a give me a second, guys. Hold on. So one of the things that I want to go over with you guys on this exact one is also compound inequalities. I don't know if I should do it now or if I should do it in the next video, because compound inequalities are also another thing that they teach you in college algebra or even in algebra 2. I learned compound inequalities in college algebra. I never learned them when I was in high school. So I'm just gonna go ahead and, end it here. If you guys have any questions, let's just go over a few more actually. So let me see. Let's just say that we have from -3 to 6. Okay. I'm gonna just do one more. So here's 0, 1, 2, 3, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is -3, so it's gonna be an open circle, because remember, this is open circle. This is a dot, okay? Goes from -3 to 6, okay? -3, and then over here is 6. So then we're just literally gonna shade in between. And then for well, if I want to write this in as an interval, which I mean I already wrote it as I already wrote it in interval notation, but if I want to write it as an interval, you would say -3 is less than x is less than or equal to 6, okay? So in the next video we're going to be doing basically compound inequalities. So this is kind of, it's kind of, I guess for some people it's review, and for others it's kind of, they're new to it. I don't want to do compound inequalities on this one because it's going to be too much. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know down below. And in the next video, we're going to be doing compound inequalities. That's where you include linear equations in your inequality, basically, in your interval. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.